So just under 3 months in charge here at Middlesbrough. You've gone from 21st in the table up to 4th. How has it been for you, this management lark?
Yeah, it's been great. I've loved it. I really have. I think the experience I gained at United prepared me for the opportunity, and I can't speak highly enough of the staff and the players and the club, how comfortable they've made us feel so quickly, and we've managed to get off to a good start.
You're a North East lad, but you've obviously played elsewhere. You never played up here in the North East. Is it nice to kind of come full circle?
Yeah, it's funny how things work. It's funny how things in life, never mind football. It was my first club as a youngster, as a 9-year-old. My dad played a few games in the reserves for them, so he tells me when he was younger. And it's funny how things happen and you find yourself in certain situations.
What is your philosophy in the way you see things for Middlesbrough moving forward?
I think it's more principle-based than anything, and my beliefs and expressing yourself, and you've got to play with that enthusiasm and that energy and that love of the game. You know, you've got to play with that, something that spurs you on. So I'm definitely more that side than an actual set on a formation.
So Michael, this is your first permanent role as a manager, but as a player you've worked under 8 incredible managers. Let's start with when you broke through at West Ham United.
Harry was incredible. I think he enjoyed giving young players a chance, and he gave me, Lamps and Joe Cole, the opportunity at the same time pretty much, and Rio was behind us. He really cared about the players, he cared about the younger players. Great times at West Ham, great club. I love playing for Martin. I really enjoyed my time at Tottenham, and he was a massive influence. Gave me a bit more responsibility, believed me again, and my career jumped up a level or two after that, and a lot again was down to Martin really.
34 England caps and 5 years with Sven.
He was calm, he was so calm. I never heard him getting angry, never really seen him get flustered. He was always really chilled.
Fabio Capello then took over, was in charge for 3 years. I don't know if he's maybe bringing you off there.
Probably. That'd have been right, yeah.
Was that 3 years?
Yeah, it was tough. I'll be honest, it was tough for me at that time. South Africa 2010 was a kind of an experience. It was a World Cup, it should be your kind of pinnacle. In Germany, 06 was special under Sven, but that was a bit of a shame that it didn't turn out so well in the end.
You had 12 years at United, and the majority of the time under Sir Alex.
He taught me so much, probably without realising it, how driven he was, how much of a winner he was. I still speak to him a lot now, and it's been a big help. Probably spoke to him more actually since he stopped being my manager than I did when I was. It's not one big thing that he would say, it's just a lot of snippets of advice along the way, and I think he cared about his players more than just footballers, which is testament to who he is. You can't do what David's done in the game without being a terrific manager, hugely driven. It didn't work out as we all would have liked that season, so bitterly disappointing, but done an amazing job at West Ham. I know they're obviously having a little bit more of a difficult spell at the moment, but one of the top managers in the Premier League over the last 20-25 years.
On to Louis.
I did learn an awful lot tactically from Louis. Very disciplined, very pragmatic in terms of how he put his teams together, but learned loads from him. The way we were playing football, I'll be honest, training was difficult, and he did tell us playing for him is hard. It was quite tough mentally at times, but he really improved us, and when I look back, he was a big influence of kind of how I see the game now.
Last but not least, the special one.
It was a real special experience, I think, for what he's done in the game and success that he's had, to see him behind the scenes, if you like, you know, with the younger players, and he would predict, you know, who he thought would end up having a career, who maybe not, and he just had an eye for it, and he would say it quite early and be quite decisive with it.
And what about Michael Carrick then? Who would you say you're most like?
I don't think you can be most like any of them. They're so different. You pick up things from every manager, every coach. I think good and bad between all of them that you kind of learn from. Coming to United and Sir Alex being the manager at that time, it was more than just the influence of him as a manager. He had the influence of the whole club, so it all came from him. So that, I'd say, as an influence, he was the biggest one. You know, you look at all of them, their careers over time and how much success they've had different ways is credit to every individual, because it's not the easiest business to hang about in.